And, my principles is always a lot of the business success and marketing is predetermined. A product that no one knows about, no one cares about, no one has the problem about, and marketing gets brought in to go, can you fix this, please? And you're like, no, I can't fix that. But it was when I think Justin Bieber and a few other big influencers got around them, and then now they became cool. Now they're $80 a pop. It's like, Kim Kardashian said that this branding dashboard's all the rage, so I'm into it. Again,
Kim Kardashian endorses Salesforce.
Did one interview, and he was saying that the amount of things that Google has failed at, it's like 250 products they've failed at.
So riddle me this then. Can you promote a bad product?
Can you promote a bad product?
Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Push podcast. My name's Jack Ferguson, an experienced brand strategist with a science background. I've worked in marketing for 15 years, have held numerous internal senior roles spanning national and international brands, and now I work as a consultant. In my career, I've worked across 25 industries and helped increase client and employer revenue by over $40 million. I will be your host. This season of the podcast is essential listening for marketers looking to better sell their strategies to stakeholders. I'll host senior marketers who will share stories, analogies, and mental models that help explain complex concepts to non-marketers, get client buy-in, and keep internal teams engaged. Whether you're in-house, agency side, or a consultant, I aim to equip senior marketers like you with tools to speak up, lead with confidence, and persuade others of your strategy's effectiveness. Thanks for being here, and don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 26 of the Push Podcast. Today we're answering a question on many a marketer's mind. Can you truly market a subpar product? Many marketers have faced the pressure of selling a product that simply doesn't live up to expectations. Maybe you're one of them. I've certainly been one before. But from Crocs to Santorini to Google, we're going to explore real-world examples of brands attempting to win with a product that just ain't that good. We're going to explore why marketers should always be included in product conversations, how a bootstrapped company did very little promotion yet found success by nailing their product, how I shaped a product for a SaaS company and helped it pivot from a code quality platform to a finance platform, how a terrible product, and I'm talking about Crocs here, became popular, why Google has failed at over 250 products, and the nuances of the impact of product quality on promotability when comparing B2B and B2C customers. On this episode of the podcast, Alex Urquhart, product marketing specialist, is my co-host. If you want to find myself or Alex online, please find links to our online profiles on whatever platform you're listening on. I'm going to bring in Alex now. Let's get started. Welcome back, Alex. How are you doing?
Good to be back.
On this fine day?
So, fantastic. Looking forward to it. Get to whinge and chat about marketing, which is what I love.
Yeah. That's what we love to do around these parts. We like to push the conversation forward.
That's right. That's a better way to put it.
But we're not delirious. Today, what are we talking about? We're talking about how easy marketing can be when the product's good.
Yep. Good concept. Or maybe a better way, we say, is marketing easier with a good product? I know for damn sure.
Yeah, we've given it away, haven't we, already?
Yeah. But I mean, for it's a good point, right? Because I think is marketing hard with a bad product? To which I say yes, very much. I've seen many a company try to dig themselves out of a hole thinking marketing, and all you marketers listening, you know this, when you just go, can you market this thing? And it's like, I hate that, that's that saying, I can sell ice to Eskimos. Oh, you're a good salesman. Yeah, you're a dickhead. Like, why would you want to sell an ice to an Eskimo? That's not helping them, you moron. So I always get like, a good marketer could do that. Well, why would we do that when we can sell something they actually need and is a good product for them and is a good fit? And, my principles is always a lot of the business success and marketing is predetermined. I believe marketing optimizes and places and puts them in a good position. And again, maybe that comes to where you cut off the line, which we'll get into as well. Where do you draw the line on marketing? So maybe you want to start there.
Well, I just thought when you say that, I would just say marketing advisors as well, because that's the market research. Ultimately, for me, the limiting factor, usually the ultimate limiting factor is the market. That's where you can't go beyond that. That's what will limit you. Then from that, your knowledge of the market. And yeah, when people say, if you're good at marketing, you should be able to sell this. It's not taking into account that to sell something, you would actually spend a lot of time considering whether someone would buy it, not just pushing, hard selling this solution that they don't want for a problem they don't have.
Yes, correct.
So that's what I'd say to that. I mean, for me as well, like product is one of the 4 Ps of marketing. It's one of the tactics of marketing. So when we say that marketing is easy, when the product's good, the concepts aren't
mutually exclusive.
No, not to me.
Yeah.
And certainly product, I certainly see the marketing, because it's got the word market in it, skill set being something that you advise at the product level back into the company with. So if there is insights in the product, that should get fed back. So yeah, we've got lots of stories on this topic, but yeah, like sometimes the CMO, I say in a company, is more like the CAO, the Chief Advertising Officer.
I mean, if you take a business and you break it down to the simplest form, right? You're someone, and I'm talking about maybe small, not a huge one that gets quite complex, but you come into the market with a product or a service that you take a problem or a state that someone is in, and you take them to a better state through your product or service. Like, that's business in this one sentence. And I think the point is, marketing side, to your point as well, determines, do we do that process? How do we identify that person where they're at? How do we get them to where they want to go? Which is where I find it so incredibly hard to grapple with, and I still get so frustrated when I don't understand how people in business don't have some form of marketing, because frankly, that is business. And that's pretty much why I got into more marketing, because I thought if you can nail it and get very good at this, that's business. You find demand, or you create or generate, or whatever you want to call it, but you find something that people need and you commercialize a product around that you can make money from. And I think to your point before, it's like, marketing sometimes, the Chief Advertising Officer, comms and promotions and ads and stuff, that's part of it. But also it's like, from the very inception of the product is 90% marketing. It's finding, and this is maybe why there are so many people who struggle out there with this, because they don't do that in the beginning and they just go product focused. I'll build this thing because I like this idea. And then a year later, they're not seeing the results and they try to reverse engineer. I would say most of the go-to-market stuff I do is reverse engineering it. Not before they've gone to market, because they've done something and gone, what do I do with this? And you go, maybe if we had this conversation 12 months ago, we could do the research and ask some people and stuff. So, and sticking to the fundamentals too. So there's an example I'll use, is this really great company, and they bootstrapped. In my opinion, they did everything right from the beginning. Identified a gap that they got pulled into. So you talk about push and pull of, like, you could say hypothetically the iPhone was pushed into the market because people weren't asking for it necessarily. There was a need for it, but it was more they had to promote this new thing that solved all these problems. Whereas they're getting pulled because people are saying, hey, we have this problem. Someone please come fix it for us. And it was these large organizations, and it was this, it was a social impact software. And they're getting pulled into it. Anyway, the founders bootstrapped it, their own money. They co-developed it because there was already a need. There was already a handful of foundation clients who needed it that they said, we'll pay for the starting of it. Brilliant. If you can do that, brilliant.
Delicious.
Because it shows that there's the need there already. You've already got first users, you can test it again. There's a couple of them, so it wasn't just one.
And you got revenue.
Yeah. So you've already commercialized it. And then off the back of that, you've got logos you can promote and case studies. Anyway, the founders got so involved, and it's so rare, but they got so involved and they built a huge personal brand themselves, and they went to what I keep advocating for. They got in every community, they went to every event, they built their own events, they pushed social media, everything. They made themselves loud and known about a topic, and they were known for that topic. And still to this day, most of their revenue and leads come from referrals and word of mouth. I don't think they spend any money on ads or on anything. Their founders are so active because people love hearing from the founders. They love to hear the whole Channel 9 news. Oh, so-and-so developed this thing. They want to hear about that person. They don't want to hear about the logo. They love hearing from people with great ideas. People love people. But they did the fundamentals. They created a new product, and it was for a need that no one was paying attention to. And it was a defined market, a defined user, and a defined solution. And you could argue a blue ocean, but it was like no one was really fighting for it. There were things that could be used over the top of it, but they weren't hard competitors. They weren't really focusing on this specific thing. And they're just going strength to strength. And they're so good at it. And that's what I say, and then I come in to help with their marketing. And to the point of this episode, it was easy because it was like, you have the demand. You already have a strong brand. You have a clear direction. You know what you do. You know why you do it. And as an example of that, because they're bootstrapped and a few people there, they're working 10 different roles like all good founders do. They need to do multiple demos all the time. And they were getting so many demos, they couldn't keep up with it. I remember being like, that's a good problem to have. Everyone I work with wants leads and stuff. They had so many coming in that they forced themselves to do fortnightly demos. Group demos. So instead of that, someone goes, I'd like to see a demo of your product, please. They go, great, here is the next fortnight, one a fortnight. Register for the next webinar. We'll do a demo for you and everyone else. And more recently, they went from a handful. They were getting now 16 to 24 we had on the last one. And it was a really good, because you could say, oh, so-and-so wants to see a demo as well. Bring them along. And it was like they had the demand, and it was then just a matter of how do they capture it efficiently and how do they use that to convert that demand, as opposed to a product that no one knows about, no one cares about, no one has the problem about, and marketing gets brought in to go, can you fix this, please? And you're like, no, I can't fix that. Well, sorry, you can do demand gen or whatever you want to call it, branding, to try to identify that and go into the needs. But when there's a good product and the fundamentals are done right, marketing or brand and comms, it becomes comms and advertising becomes so easy.
Yeah. Well, in that case, if I was pulled into something like that, my mind goes straight to, well, I can help you get closer to product market fit.
Correct.
That's what I'd offer.
Yes.
I wouldn't offer any sort of promotion or anything. It would be more research and product consulting effectively. So
let's determine the strike rate.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's a company I worked with recently. This was a SaaS company. Alex is a SaaS expert. I don't do a whole lot with SaaS, but in this case I did. Started out as a code quality platform. The idea was, clients who are non-technical can get developers to put stuff through this platform, and they'll get some sort of benchmark of the quality of the code. That's where it started off with. And I started talking to people, throwing this at them, throwing mud against the wall, seeing what happened. No promotion, nothing like that. A basic website, just for credibility. So if someone went there, it's like, okay, it's real. And it turned out to be a finance platform in the end that helped owners of a different type of business, a digital business, understand what tasks need to get done so they could bill a client. So it started off as a code quality platform and went to almost, bordering on a fintech. And that was just through conversation and through iteration and watching what excited people. So there were certain dashboards that was like, whoa, like owners, you could see them light up with it. But you start out with this hypothesis and you throw it out there, and then all of a sudden you hear some things like, oh, there's an interesting little nugget there, And it is interesting what something can start off as and what it became. And it's similar with this podcast. We know it started out for non-marketers, became a podcast for not just any marketer, but senior marketers. And that was not anticipated either. It's like if we promoted this really, really well to non-marketers, I just would never go that well. It would go okay, I think, but it just, or we'd have to change the podcast, like what the content, what we do, because that's not who's resonating with it.
Correct. And this is where I hear this other debate of like, the excuse was, Crocs, the shoes, like how ridiculous they are. But like they were sort of laughed at for a while, and then they became like dad's mowing shoes, and then it was sort of a thing. They did okay for a while, but it was when I think Justin Bieber and a few other like big influencers got around them, and then now they became cool. Now they're $80 a pop, and the argument was product stayed the same, value stayed the same, everything stayed the same, but better marketing was done around it. Now I think that to an extent, yes, you're right, they did more marketing, but that's also insane amounts of social proof. The power of tribal influence is that you can take a shitty product or something that's terrible, and you can get enough social proof where, like, say, the Kardashians, the Fire Fest, which we spoke about, you get enough people around it that humans are so tribal focused that we just want to follow the leader, we just want to fit in, we just want to, that you can follow it. I have a different approach for a B2B SaaS where it's like you're changing an internal process in a business. It's like, oh, Kim Kardashian said that this branding dashboard's all the rage, so I'm into it. Again,
Kim Kardashian endorses Salesforce.
Well, the irony that you would do, but again, right, that's got product market fit already.
I know.
So, but to your point though, it's like it's would that change it? I don't know, but I think it would get you the attention, probably from the wrong people. But like, my argument is, if you were selling shoes and hats, and she wore this ridiculous looking hat, but she said it was cool, you'd probably get really well.
Yes.
But I think when a B2B stuff, and maybe I always think when it comes to that, and what I love it is that it's so analytical, where it's like, how is this helping me in my day to day? Is it making my life easier? And that's really most of what the B2B side that I specialize in comes down to. So unless you got the money, unless you got Kardashian money, like you're probably not going to change the trends, which I think a lot of non-marketers think that's how it's going to work. If you make this thing shine in the light and do the halo effect and do all this cool stuff around it, people will buy it. Again, I love B2B stuff because it doesn't have as much of that effect. If it's not going to help me and I don't like using it, I'm not going to use it. But then the positive side to that is you could be a nobody, but you come up with a good idea and a good product, you can sell it easily.
Okay. Interesting point, because my mind goes back to you have to get to a certain position like Crocs were in where they could then make that decision to have Justin Bieber promoted. And you are talking extreme outliers there. You're talking about one of probably the most recognizable people on the planet. So I mean, this is we play the probabilistic game. It's not that but my job is to play by the rules, not by the exception. Or if I'm going to think there's an exception, I should flag that and go, this is what I'd never do, ever. But in this one situation, for this one specific or a few specific reasons, I would actually do this. It's not what I typically do. I generally play the odds.
Yes, I agree.
So,
and it's a safer bet too. I mean, you can say that's right. Firefest, let's put $100,000 into this thing. Can it work? Maybe, but the reality is like there is a 1% chance, or we develop good quality content with the right advocacy and the right fit and the right positioning, that's got a 70% chance it'll work. I'd rather do that instead. So I think it's really important is that if you look at like that other product I was saying a while ago, that I had a goal to have 300 meetings in my first year with the market. And I was very lucky because the place I was at had an okay brand, it was a new product, and the industry was somewhat more receptible to talking to people. They're very social in this area. Whereas I've worked with large mining, oil and gas companies, and they would rather rip their own arm off than have a meeting with a seller. So so I was able to have a lot of meetings and I got really out there. And I think over the 2.5 years, I had like 1,000 meetings all up. And it's the best lesson I've ever learned, because as clear as night and day, the positioning, the product itself, I reckon I could engineer it to the finest detail. I knew exactly what they wanted and how they wanted it and what they needed it for. And it was so abundantly clear, which is where all that advice comes from, talk to your customers. But the point was that like, once I was so deeply ingrained with the need and the person and what they were after, the product was super clear. Once the product was good, the marketing was super easy. And so it's all that follow-on. And to your point, it's like that's also marketing, I would argue, with the beginning, product, and then comms and advertising from that as well. So
look, I mean, obviously, we're all looking for product market fit and
the elusive,
quite elusive. But when you find it, you feel it. And yes, like, but the same thing with a more mature company, like they might have a tired product, the big players whacking them. There's a new innovative competitor on the scene. It can still happen for bigger companies as well, where their product, maybe it was all right to get to a certain point, or sometimes there's a reason why it gets to that point. They just accidentally end up on a rocket ship at some stage in their development for whatever reason. I've seen that happen a few times.
There's definitely an element of luck to it. Like sometimes, So, again, one day the product has to be good. One day, And I would say also something to consider on that point, and something I think a lot of marketers and companies need to consider, is that these huge conglomerates, it's the irony that it's usually one thing, which is what startups get lectured into, to go one channel, one position, one problem, just focus. That, like Google, right? 99% of their business growth was from the Google search thing. But since then, they've had the Gmails and the stuff. Some guy, an ex on Lenny's podcast, did one interview, and he was saying that the amount of things that Google has failed at, it's like 250 products they've failed at. What was it, G+? What was that social media?
Google. Google Plus.
An awful, and again,
compared to Facebook, like a social network.
Compared to that's right. And he even said, as he was going through it, as he was working on it, he's like, this is awful. He's like, there is no, but to your point, there was no product thing done behind it. There was no, why are we doing this? And it was purely a play because they had so much money that they were like, well, we have to have our hand in social media. That's all the rage. Because an executive can hide behind that, right? Google Plus fails. Who is responsible? No one. But a founder is very clearly responsible for their stuff. So I think that early stage stuff, and there's an example that this company I worked with did very well off one product, and it was because, again, fundamentals were done right. They found the right fit. They found the right need. No one was paying attention to it. They had a unique way of selling it. They had a different way of doing it to anyone else. They were very ingrained in the early days. One of the founders was from the industry, so what I call like founder market fit, where it's like you've got an expert from that industry that can have an authority in it.
Yep, and probably connections as well already.
Yes, that's right. The first couple of connections, and also that I always stand by that, like a product or service, whatever it is, you're helping that market with an outcome. So you need to be an expert in that outcome. And you need to, like, if you're selling engineering software, you should know engineering. And so he had that. It was working really well. And I would say 9 out of 10 demos we had, we got the aha moment or the holy shit moment that people call it. And I remember thinking, I wasn't really accustomed to many other things at the time, but now looking back, I was like, that was so rare. Like, I'm talking like almost every demo, they would sit at the end and go, wow. They're like, I love this. This is amazing. Again, it was a complicated commercial process, and big companies take time, all those things. But it was like the product market fit. They found the problem. They found the product. They were amazed by it, and everything else fed off the back of that. They developed another product because one client, a big client, said, oh, can you build this other thing? And so it started with, yeah, we'll give it a crack. Sunk a lot of money into it. Last minute, like all big companies, rug was pulled, but they had the product. And so they went, oh, let's keep developing it. We've come this far. Famous last words. And I think over 3 or 4 or 5 years, like $2.5 million, like thereabouts would have been put into it. And it never got anywhere because there was no fundamentals been done. The product didn't have a need it serviced. It didn't have a defined area. And this closest competitor, they were trying to sell it for $4,000 a month. Closest competitor was getting sold for $16 a month. That essentially gave them the same outcome. And multiple times we'd show it to people and they go, I like it. It's kind of a cool idea, but like, they didn't have that bite. Like people go like, but yeah, it was a nice to have, I guess. Instead of going, we can help you solve this problem. And also part of the thing was it required what do you call it? Like a system change. You had to change the entire way they did this entire thing. Yes. So anyway, so it was just basic. But anyway, so one product pushed shit uphill for years, wasted a lot of money. The other product, very easy. The marketing and the comms was very simple behind it. So...
Beautiful. It's delicious.
Yeah.
So riddle me this then. Can you promote a bad product?
Can you promote a bad product?
I've made that intentionally vague.
Well, I'll say this. I'd say depending on what it is, once again, and I'm going to draw very broad lines, I'll say B2B SaaS, no.
Good. Okay.
Sorry, let me say it again. You can promote it. Yeah. It won't last.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you'll have churn. So you can do the sexiest marketing, say all the right things in the right way, present the product, awesome free trial, do everything marketing correctly. You get 3 months into it. If they don't like the product and it's a piece of shit, they're gone, which I've seen as well. So no for B2B. For B2C, I'd say anything software, anything subscription related, no. No.
Yeah.
Anything subscription that because subscription requires long-term value.
Yeah.
And if you can't realize it having long-term value, I think it's like the 3-month hump. Over 3 months, if they haven't touched it, they're probably going to leave. Like a 90% chance they'll leave. So subscription, no. Transactional B2C products, yes. I think you can market the crap. What's that? Liquid Death? Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's water, right?
It's soda water.
Yeah.
And they charge like $5 a can.
Yeah.
That's a fucking basic. Like you can go down to Woolies and buy a 2-liter bottle for 98 cents. Like $5 for a tin? Really? Like...
But that's not what they're buying, obviously. They're buying. I don't know what they're buying. Actually, I don't know much about this brand, but I have heard about it. Like they're buying status, I guess.
Well, they're endorsed by Joe Rogan and what's his name, Tom Segura.
Okay.
And they've got good backing. And I'll be honest, it looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it seems again maybe that whole you're selling experience, which you hear that phrase a lot on things like LinkedIn and all these gurus in marketing. And yes, you are selling experience, but I think an experience in a drink or a clothes or a shop, whatever, is very different from anything B2B related. I personally think it's very different in that sense.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, because maybe you're selling status with Liquid Death and with like consumer products, other consumer, like, Ferrari and whatnot, and Louis Vuitton and all the things where you are selling status.
Literally status.
Not a whole lot, not as much in B2B per se.
Which, and then to your point, then you can rely, because say the Louis Vuitton stuff, right? Like, yeah, you are selling status, so it can be a bad product. And someone said the other day, like some of their products are $50. It is a material wise for a $5,000 purse. And which is ludicrous, but to your point, they're not buying a $50 purse. You're buying the status of Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, you're buying the badge.
That's right, or a Lamborghini or whatever you're going to buy there as well. So, can you market a bad product? Yes, But then the irony is if you market it properly enough to say liquid death, does that then not become a good product?
Yeah. Or is the value of the product just misunderstood from the outside? Because Louis Vuitton, we can say it's a bad handbag or whatever, a purse or whatever, but it's not what they're buying.
Well, here's a way of thinking of it. Then I just thought of it then. Is that then it's not the marketing, because you said you're selling status. So therefore, it's got nothing to do with the bag. You're selling the status. So essentially, you're creating a good product.
True.
So your marketing is creating the product. It's like one of those ones of, and I won't name names, but you can do those rating organizations who like rate certain things, and you can get their badge on your website.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So if you have things like that, for example, technically that's nothing. That's the badge is nothing. What you're selling is credibility and status, which ironically is the marketing.
Yep.
So I think it's very variable, and I think, again, depends on your point then before. What are you actually selling? Because if you are selling status or credibility, or then I would argue that it's not the bag or the Ferrari. No. The product is the status.
Well, and which with the Fire Festival would have been that too.
Yeah,
they would have been like, the Kardashians, and
they don't want to see the music acts that are there.
No, they probably don't know who they are.
Correct. They want to be seen as going there.
Yes, they want to be known, because they'd be Instagramming the shit out of that. I'd say. Because
I saw once too. I went to our honeymoon. Went to Greece, and we went to Santorini. And there was all these, like I've never seen more influencers in one area. And if you don't know Santorini, so in Greece, those like blue dome places, you always see them on postcards. So it's really nice. Very boring, very picturesque though, but like a really nice spot. And there was at one morning looking across, and I would have seen about 5 different influencers at once. They had tripods like set up, and this one girl was getting a photo of her, about 10 different shots of her eating this breakfast. Didn't touch the food once. It went stale and flies were all over it by the end of it. But again, she probably wasn't buying the trip to Greece. No. She was paying for the photo opportunities and the status of being there.
She wasn't even buying the food to eat.
No, and I remember being like...
It wasn't for sustenance.
All right. I was like, should I just lean over and grab the croissant off the thing? Like,
it's a photo shoot. The restaurant didn't know that they were hosting a photo shoot.
That's right. Yeah. So, interesting. But... I think, can you market a bad product? It depends what you call a product, I think is the answer. I think the answer is depending if it's B2C or B2B. And I think, what are you actually selling? So back to that point, I don't believe you can market a bad product sustainably.
I reckon I'm on board with that too. Yeah. But the other thing I'm thinking is I just don't want to either.
Yeah. That's the more mature answer.
We've all been there where we're like, oh, this sucks. This thing sucks. I do not want to try and promote this. I'm embarrassed to promote it.
And I met this really good sales guy a while ago, and he was like a guru like his whole life. And he actually legitimately was. He wasn't a sleazy like Wolf of Wall Street wanker. He was legitimately a good sales guy. And he said his thing always does that he has to believe in the product. And he goes, selling is so easy when you legitimately believe in the product, because it naturally comes out of you. And I think the same goes for marketing. If you naturally love the product, you love what it does, and you believe in it, everything else is easy. Like you're just, what do they say? You're just telling people why you love it. You're not
that's a good one.
Forcing people to do things.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Write that down. It's a good one.
I will. I'll jot it down. But thank you for chatting, Alex. I think we've covered a lot in that episode once again.
Stuff.
I will see you on the next episode. I enjoyed that one. Appreciate it.
Fun. See you next time, mate.
Talk soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Push Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, and if you are enjoying the episodes, please leave a review of the podcast on your platform of choice. It really helps to build the podcast credibility and to help others find this type of information.